Hello students, this is the sixth and final video explaining the chapter Nelson Mandela. Today I will explain the final 2 pages of the chapter. First, in these 2 pages, Mandela has described his real-life events that led to his transformation from a frightened young man into a bold one. He became a rebel from the racial government. He became a rebel for the racial government of South Africa. First of all, Mandela, he describes his childhood experiences. He narrates that he was not born with a hunger to be free. He was born free. Like all other children, he also enjoyed his childhood, running through his village, enjoying roasted mealies, riding the broad back of slow-moving bulls. He didn't face any trouble from the laws of man or God. In the next paragraph here, he describes the events that changed the flow of his life. He writes that as soon as he grew young, he felt that his boyhood freedom was an illusion. He realized it when he discovered that his freedom had already been taken away. At first, as a student, he wanted freedom only for himself, such as staying out at night, reading books, texts of his choice, freedom to go to his desired places, etc. So at the initial stage, Mandela's concept of freedom revolved around individual or personal freedom. He wanted freedom such as achieving his potentials, making earnings to maintain his and his family, marrying and having a family, etc. Mandela's this perception of freedom changed when he observed that he alone was not deprived of freedom or enjoyed restricted freedom. There were a large number of blacks who were deprived of certain basic and honorable freedoms. At this point, he joined the African National Congress. This was the turning point of his life. From here, his journey started, the journey to freedom. Mandela realized that the question of freedom was not just about his freedom, but for the freedom of his people. The desire for the freedom of his people to live their lives with dignity and self-respect transformed him from a young, frightened young man into a bold one. A law-abiding attorney became a criminal. A life-loving man to live like a monk. Here in this description, he comes out as a great leader. He displays the quality of a great leader when he asserts that he couldn't even enjoy the poor and limited freedoms he was allowed when he observed that his people were not free. Mandela exclaims that freedom is indivisible. It means that freedom cannot be denied to any person. A system cannot discriminate among people while granting freedom. Each and everyone has the right to freedom. As such, if a person is denied of freedom or is chained, it means that all people have been denied freedom and all are chained. In this way, Mandela gave his struggle a very broad platform without showing any prejudice. He strongly advocated freedom and equality for all he strongly advocated freedom and equality for all without showing any hatred for the oppressors. In the last paragraph, the beauty of this great man's ideology comes out with the fragrance of humanity, the highest religion of the world. He says that both the oppressor and oppressed have the same fate. Both need to be liberated. The oppressor is a prisoner of hatred. He is locked behind the bars of prejudice and narrow-mindedness. Whether a person takes away another's freedom or the freedom of a person is taken away by some other person, in both cases, they are robbed of their humanity. That is, they are not humans. The oppressor is termed as inhuman for his brutal acts, narrow mindedness, and the oppressed for being forced to live a life deprived of basic rights and freedom to live with respect and dignity. Here in this last paragraph, Mandela emerges not only as a political leader but as a spiritual leader who teaches his people to show forgiveness. He asks them not to hate the white people. Here, Mandela projects himself as a true follower of Mahatma Gandhi who believed in nonviolence, truth, and satyagraha. Never did Mandela express hatred for white people, nor he encouraged his people to hate the whites. Rather, he gave the message of love and universal brotherhood. With this, we come to the end of this chapter. I hope you all would have learned many important lessons from Mandela's life and would try to follow them in your life. Thank you, students.